Welcome to the For the Love of the Game podcast with Johnny K. This week, episode 7, Staying Social on the Launch of a New Brand. We're diving into Johnny's latest venture, a canned water business. Why is this new brand so important to him? How does it connect to the bigger picture of staying social and building something meaningful? Let's get into it.
Episode 7, Johnny K for the Love of the Game podcast. Thanks for listening, watching, and just the feedback, the comments, all that stuff. I love it. Thank you very much. I can't believe it's 7 episodes already. At the end of episode 6, I kind of dropped a hint that I had something to announce in this episode in the month of March. And what is that announcement? I'm getting into the canned water business. What am I talking about here? Here it is. Stay social. Yeah, that's what I like to do. Stay social, sparkling water, and then here's the natural water. There you go. This water comes from a spring in Lanark County. That's near Ottawa. Had a great trip up there. Went to the co-packers, watched the process. I met the gentleman. It was awesome. And this is an idea that came to me, probably the first time it came to me was we were on a family trip, Darien Lake, and it was just after homecoming here in Durham, just after COVID too. Things were opening up. We're at Darien Lake. We're at a concert. Everyone goes into the concert. You know, they're having beers. I order a water, and I'm expecting a plastic bottle with a lid on it. I just want to drink some water. I don't feel like drinking. All of a sudden, she hands me a can. Love the can. I love the way it felt in my hand. And I'm thinking, this is really cool. And then, you know, especially thinking as COVID was over, it was social distancing, stay away from each other. That's where I came up with this stay social. Now we want to become one. We want to get out. We want to have fun. We want to stay social. And I like that term. And we went through the process of with our lawyers, hiring, getting the mark. Takes a long time. And, you know, I've spent money on worse things the last 30 years in business. I love this idea. And the investment for I think our first shipment's going to be 128 2-4s and some lawyer fees, but I'm really excited about it. So we're going to keep those cases in the warehouse, spare bedroom, whatever, but we're going to sell them online. And, that was the first time I thought about it, was on our trip to Darien Lake with family. And then around that time, too, we just finished celebrating the homecoming in Durham, 2022, and something happened to me, and it was almost like an epiphany. Hope that's the right word. What happened was, just after homecoming, had some friends over. We went out 3 nights in a row. We didn't drink heavy. We just had a good time. I did some blood work after, just for a regular routine checkup. The nurse calls me like 2 weeks later, and she goes, you know what, your blood work is good, but the doctor said you really need to lay off the booze. And I'm like, wow, really? Well, that's funny. I only drink once a year. Homecoming was the first time I drank, and I kind of started thinking about how I felt after homecoming. And what happens to me, every decade it changes. My 20s, my 30s, I could handle it, go out, have some drinks, function, work. Anxiety and depression, I could usually just keep them at bay. But as you get older, into my 40s and now 50 this year, I just struggle with it. And I found that when I drank, I couldn't shake it. 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, I feel anxious, I'm depressed, can't figure it out. I'll exercise more. But what it got to be was, I felt like it was the alcohol that was making me feel that way. And then I'm thinking, well, John, you know, you only drink once a year. Why bother? So that's what I did. Stopped drinking, and you know what? I felt great. And the biggest challenge, there's been not challenge, but just kind of like being in front of friends, or all my friends now know that I don't drink. But, you know, when you're at a wedding and someone offers you a drink and you say, no, I'm good. And they go, oh yeah, you don't drink. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want you to feel bad though. And I remember I made a post about that earlier, just talking about, you know, I don't drink because I don't like the taste, for one, and I don't like that it makes me feel anxious and depressed after. I've never had a challenge with alcohol. Never. I've had other issues. I have other issues. And that happens to be stuff with like food and diet and exercise and stupid gimmicks. And when it comes to food and overthinking it, and that's going to be a whole nother podcast. But alcohol was never one of them. And nothing happened. I didn't get a DUI, or I didn't try to run over my family or anything. I just don't like the taste, don't like how it makes me feel, and I just made a decision not to drink. So in saying that, yeah, I'm excited about this brand. Stay social. Sometimes I struggle with that, but if I can't stay social, at least I can stay hydrated. Mark that one up to the marketing team. Yeah, and that's the real thing. And I don't want my friends to feel uncomfortable either, because I feel like sometimes when I'm out and about, and I just want to stay social. And here's a couple of examples. I've had 3 cases of this stuff for about 4 days. They're shipping 2 skids to me this week. But I went out to watch a hockey game, went to Buddy's Man Cave, and I took about 4 Stay Socials, and I sucked them back in about an hour and a half. Mind you, he has the temperature in there like a sauna. We're all in there watching. But it was good. I just like to be, just have a drink in my hand. And then I was surprised because I got another buddy that loves his beers. And he saw the Stay Social and he asked me about it. And he goes, you know what? I would love that. I would love that, because sometimes I don't feel like having a drink, but I want to have something in my hand, or I want to stay social. But he doesn't necessarily want a beer, and just to have something else. So he loved the concept of it. I thought that was really good feedback. That was good to hear. And, you know, I had Old Timers hockey on Sunday. I cracked open a can. All the boys are having their beverages. I had mine. And we shot the breeze for 30 minutes, 40 minutes in the room like we always do. Had some laughs, stayed social, and we carried on. So, you know, this is a project that I did it more for me. You know what? I'm going to be 80 years old. If this Stay Social canned water doesn't work out, I'm going to have enough cans around till I'm 80, I hope, and, you know, enjoy it. And if it doesn't work out, like I said, I've spent money worse on other things, but I'm really excited about the project. I really hope that you like it, and if you don't, that's fine too. I understand. I know there's going to be people out there that either get it or they don't. Johnny, I could go to Walmart. I can get a case of 24 for $5.99 plastic water bottles. Okay, I get it. You don't get it, but that's okay. You know, cans, it's environmentally friendly. I love the fact that the cans are made in Canada. The water is co-packed and filled in Canada. It's a natural spring. All that stuff I love about recyclable, and all the good things about it too. But at the end of the day, I love the term Stay Social. I love talking with friends, hanging out, hotel rooms, you know, hockey tournaments, playing cards and poker, just having a good time. And I think this brand will be a feel-good brand, and I know it makes me feel good, and I hope it makes you feel good too. So that's the big announcement from Johnny K. We're going to start the canned water product. It's called Stay Social. It's going to be online at drinkstaysocial.com, and that's great. That's my idea. And just remember, you can stay social on Saturday, feel great on Sunday. Cheers. How did we get to this stage of having actual cans and almost ready to launch? It was quite a journey that took over a year. And the first point of business was to protect the mark, the trademark, Stay Social. So what I've done is years before, I would do the trademark stuff myself and work on the trademark website and work with the government and apply myself and do all that. But for the last couple projects, I made sure that I hired a lawyer, a guy that I've worked with for the last 5 years, really good. So when this project came about, I connected with him and we started the process. And that application journey takes a long time. It's over a year before you get the official papers. And that was kind of the business logistics part that had to be done first before we could start looking into other things with Stay Social and how to make this a canned beverage and all that type of stuff. So applying for the trademark was number one. The second thing that I had to do, and this was more for me, was I connected with my good friend. Her name is Helen Hopkins. She's a graphic artist in our area here. And I asked Helen to design a can for me. And I wanted a can that had Stay Social on it. I wanted a can for sparkling water and natural water. I wanted both cans to be a different color. And I just wanted to see it. And that was definitely for me, because anytime I work on a project, and I'm sure you're the same way, if you see it and look at it every day, you're going to think about it a lot more. So Helen did a dynamite job in designing my can, and I took a screenshot, and that was my screensaver on my iPhone. So every day I would look at this sparkling water can here. Has my For the Love of the Game logo on it, has Stay Social on it as well. And that would keep me focused throughout the year to make sure, once a week, twice a week, twice every 2 weeks, I do something to get towards the goal. And after Helen designed that for me, the next step was to try to find where we get the cans, where we get the water. I didn't know the business. I reached out to a few friends that are in the business, in the beer business first. And, that's where I learned that you make the cans in one location, they ship it to a co-packer that fills them. So now I was on the quest to find a place to design my can, and I found it in a company called Hart. And that came from the recommendation of my good friend, Graham Woodhouse. He's been in the industry. He's been in the beer business, and he was nice enough to take the time to shoot the breeze on the phone with me. Quite a while. I'd ask questions, he'd answer right away, and he actually was kind of like the driving force, just to kind of put the ideas in my head that this is possible, this is what you have to do. And he connected me with Hart. It's a company, H-A-R-T, and they do custom can designs. So I connected with them, and all of a sudden there's someone in customer service there. We're talking about my can. I send them pictures of mine, and we get some pricing rolling. And then we had to have their in-house graphics person, because on a can, you can't just put, your logo on it and just say, hey, I'm going to sell water. You have to abide by the rules the Canadian government lays out when it comes to food and beverage. We had to have all the contents of what's in the can, the nutritional value, all the ratings, and all the analysts, something like that. But everything that goes in a can, you have to put it on the outside. That's part of the rules. And what size of can am I going to go with? Well, I didn't want a smaller can. I didn't want a stubby can. I wanted something that was not as big as a tall boy, but in between. So this is 473 mils, good size can, and Hart was able to help me all with that. So when their in-house graphics person connected with me, we went back and forth, and I was like, yeah, really cool. We put our a QR code on it, and we also registered the domain name Drink Stay Social. That was kind of like, I did that early as well. Right after the trademark. I didn't know where I was going with this project, but for a couple bucks to get the domain, I thought it was worth it. So, and then the vision I had was having a QR code on the can. And with today's technology and everything, you can scan anything. You scan the can, takes you right to our website and where you can order. So that was part of the vision, and Hart customer service was dynamite. But just like everything, even customers in our business, they always want to see a sample. And I can appreciate that. And when Hart offered a service that they'll design the can, and then when you approve it, they send you samples. And that was a very exciting day when those samples came. They sent 2 of the sparkling water samples, 1 of the water, and it was cool. And just like any project that you do that's meaningful, you can be in our business and you can be getting 100 shirts embroidered or hats or whatever. I always like giving a live sample. And when I was on the other part of it, getting a sample and seeing it and feeling it and what it looks like, so cool. Then we had to pick the color of our lid. And, lids, everything in this business comes in bulk. So you couldn't just order, I'm going to get 1,500 silver and 1,500 gold. They come in packs of like 3,100. So I ordered gold for both cans. I thought it looked pretty cool. And just like everything, when you can something, it's made in Canada, a product of Canada, and this was filled at Lanark Highlands Springs. So it is a company in Carleton Place, just the suburbs of Ottawa, and I made the trip there because I wanted to see what the process was like. I wanted to be there, and that was quite an experience. I connected with a gentleman named Lee. He's the founder of the Lanark Pure Springs Company, the co-packer, and they do a number of things there. A little background on the spring. It's a natural spring on his property, and it's in the outskirts of Carleton Place, about 40 or 50 acres, if I'm not mistaken. And the spring runs right through his property. So he gets a tanker truck that fills the water, and he brings it to the processing facility in Carleton Place. And that's where I met him. I drove there. It was a good drive. It was just under 6 hours. I left on a Tuesday night. I was going to be there for Wednesday morning at 9:30. I met Lee. He's a gentleman. He brought me into the factory, and then I was able to see the process and how it works. Our cans were delivered from Hart directly to his company in Carleton Place, and I learned a lot about that business too, especially with cans. Environmentally friendly. We all know that plastics aren't good for our environment. Plastics are cost friendly, but after that, it's not a good product in my opinion, where these cans can be recycled. And Lee made a good point that they have a connection with the Shriners, or they collect the tin from the cans, so all their straps go there. And it kind of reminded me of maybe the March of Dimes, the collecting all the tabs, and that aluminum is worth a lot of money, and you get a collection of that, and it makes for a good fundraiser. So Lee was gracious enough to take me in. It was awesome. I saw the machine. A gentleman named Josh was loading the cans from the top. I was watching the whole process. I took some videos of it, and it was pretty awesome. At the end, I was able to be at the end of the assembly line. They'd come off. I would stack them in the box, and then that's where we created our 2 pallets. And total number of cans that we did that day were just over 3,000, and that's 2 pallets. And there's another logistic thing that I learned about the business, is you can make all this product, but definitely you're going to have to ship it, and you have to include that ship in the cost of the can. And when you have your sale price after, all that's going to be included. So side note, the Hart company that delivered the cans, they're environmentally friendly to the point that they won't ship anything on a wood crate. They say that's a waste. And what they have are these hard plastic crates that they recycle. So when you get an order from them that's substantial, 2 crates like mine, I say it's a big order. For me, it's huge. For the packer, it's a small order. 3,000 cans or less, that's a small order. These guys are used to doing 10,000 runs. These guys are used to having their machines running 7 days a week. They've done orders up to 750 pieces. So fitting Johnny K in and his Stay Social idea was much appreciated. But these crates that Hart packed my order on, you have to pay for them. And the deal with Hart is you pay a dunnage fee. I didn't know what dunnage was, had to Google it. But it's just a dunnage fee is they ship your cans to the co-packer, and then you can take it back and you can get a refund. So they charged me about $250 for a dunnage fee. But, by the time I was in Carleton Place, And then by the time I was in Carleton Place, and then I load these crates into my Ford Edge, which probably wouldn't fit, and drove 2 hours close to Quebec, and then dropped these off for $250. It wasn't worth it. So if this ever takes off, we're going to have the crates stored at the co-packers, and then we'll just make one shot. So it'll be good for both of us. But until then, that's going to be included in the can, in the cost. And those are all the things that I just didn't know were part of the business. I did know it was like magic, but everything has a process, and that was the fun part about this whole process. I went into a couple local breweries, and with my idea on my phone, hey, I have this idea for Stay Social water. Would you be interested in filling it and all that type of stuff? And I learned a lot about hop water, and a brewery that wants to fill anything, any can, a lot of them that use the same lines as their beer, they'll never get that distinct beer taste. That's why they call it hop water. Any beer expert on here, they can kind of maybe send me a message or if they agree with me. But that's what I learned, that, it's the best. If you're in the water business, go to a place that fills with natural water, spring water, because those lines won't have any residue of any type of beer. I had a hop water and it tasted like a beer to me. So that was a good lesson. And then it's all about the quantities and finding this company here. This gentleman, before I met Lee from Lanark, there wasn't a company that would fill sparkling water or natural water. They would have to do 3,000 cans plus. But this gentleman said he would split it. So he did 1,500 and 1,500 for me, which was appreciated. And we were able to keep the price close, which was good because this is a new venture. And now as we're at this stage, we still haven't looked into the logistics of what's going to cost, how much is a can, are we doing wholesale. Right now, I think we're just going to sell it on our website and just see where it goes. We'll call it a soft launch. I had ideas of hitting some local pubs up and say, hey, would you give this a try? Has anyone asked for water? As a group come in and there's a DD and he wants a water, maybe you throw him one of these, get the ideas going. I have a friend that's in the food business. He's part of a franchise, and maybe I could present this to him. There's so many ideas out there, but I wanted to start with just getting the water, getting it here, getting some feedback from friends, constructive criticisms, see what people think, take the good, take the bad, and then just kind of continue to build with this. And that was the venture. That's how it started, from thinking of the trademark, Stay Social, applying, talking to my lawyer, going through the process, and then all of a sudden we're here. We have the cans. We made the trip back from Carleton Place. I brought home 3 cases because I didn't want to bring home as much as I could fit in my car, because the challenge is, at the time I was there, winter storm, and I just envisioned me with about 25 cases of Stay Social. I make it halfway home, and then I got to pull over at a hotel. Can't leave water in a vehicle. It will freeze because it's that cold right now. So I didn't feel like lugging 25 cases into the Comfort Inn. So I brought home 3 cases. That was manageable. So I brought home 3 cases. That was manageable, and we're ready to start our quest. So that's part of the journey on how we made a can. You've heard the theory behind Stay Social, and I just hope that I hope you like it. And like I said, if you don't, that's okay. I get it, and I created this product more for me. And maybe there's others that feel the same way and they just want to enjoy a beverage, hang out with your buddies, share some stories, some laughs, crack a few cans, and that's it. So that's the Stay Social part when it comes to how it came together. And that's it. Have a great day. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.